You know, one of the best parts of modern retro formats like Goat and Edison is the chance to see how far the community has come in terms of deck building, and today we have a deck that showcases how much cleaner, more streamlined and more powerful Goat decks have gotten over the years. Good day ladies and gentlemen, Abyss full of Goats here, and today we're going to take a look at one of the Goat format's strongest and newest decks, Rescue Cat Combo / Rescue Cat Burn. Also, before we begin this video, I know I said the next Goat deck would be Empty Jar, but I've since discovered that deck doesn't really exist anymore in Goat, so I decided to pivot to the other one-shot combo deck in the format. With all that being said, let's begin. So usually I begin these videos by going through the deck monsters, then spells, then traps. I explain the deck's playstyle along the way. However, this deck is so one note and focused on its combo kill, I feel it's better to start off explaining the combo and going from there. So without further ado, allow me to introduce you to the most powerful card in Goat format, and the most evil and deadly card from 2005, Rescue Cat. Hey, don't laugh, this may look innocent, but believe me, Timmy, if this cat could, he would eat you and your family. This card is so powerful it would eventually be banned for many years, be errated to come off the list, and still see a bit of play in Tri-Brigade, and we get to play with the unerrated version here in Goat format. So why is Rescue Cat so good, you ask? Well, let me tell you. So despite its terrible stats, what makes Rescue Cat so good is that you can tribute this monster and then summon 2 level 3 or lower beasts from your deck. It has no restrictions on attacking, on how you use their effects, or it's not even once per turn. Yeah, as you can imagine, there's a reason this card was banned for years and errated to skill drain the monsters it summons. However, as powerful as this card is today, it's arguably even stronger in Goat, but if you access another card that is so broken that unlike Cat, it is still banned to this day. I give you the poster child for future-proofing your cards, Last Will, which upon a monster hitting the graveyard in any way, allows us to summon any monster with fit into less attack from the deck to the field. And what monster do we have that both sends us to the graveyard and has low stats? Yep. The goal of this deck is to use Unerrated Rescue Cat not once, but twice a turn to fill up your board with monsters and swing for game in one shot. So what are we getting as part of this Rescue Cat combo? Well, firstly we're going to get ourselves 2 copies of Milius Radiant, a favourite for Memories players that in the actual game grants all Earth monsters a 500 attack point buff. So by getting 2 of them on the field we give all our Earths a 1000 point buff, which when combined with our next monster can often mean game over with one shot. So we've gotten our 2 power boosters, while we're getting off our last wheel copy of Cat. How about 2 copies of one of the most powerful level 3s in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time, Gyagu Giri Panda. A level 3 beast, the Panda, just having piercing damage, starts at 800 attack points, but then gains an additional 500 for each monster the opponent controls. So assuming our opponent has a minimum of 3 monsters, and you'll see why I said that later, it means that if this combo all plays out right, we'll have 1000 points of damage from the 2 Milius Radiants, and over 6000 from the Pandas, leaving our opponent in prime position to be killed by either one of our other monsters, or one burn spell. And keep in mind with a good hand, we can accomplish this board as soon as turn 2, or if we're really lucky, even turn 1. In addition to this, another potential target we have for Rescue Cat is Des Wombat, which isn't having much higher base attack stats, making it easy to OTK, also make it so you can't take any effect damage, which gives you the edge in burn matches with pure Panda Burn or Lockdown Burn. Now a combo deck like this obviously needs to be consistent, so our next monsters are 3 copies of Giant Rat and a single Sangan, essentially meaning we have up to 10 ways of seeing at least one Rescue Cat. But it also allows the deck to have access to an Earth toolbox of sorts for a plan B should we need it. This makes Cat Combo one of the better combo decks for this era, as unlike say Empty Jar, it can sometimes win if its combo is stopped. We'll get to that in a second, however let's run up the consistency boosters with Morphing and Cyber Jars. Now these cards aren't ending games like an Empty Jar, at least not directly, but they are insane card drawing a deck like this that doesn't really care what our opponent draws because we're killing them in one shot. So what monsters are we including in the Earth Toolbox section of this deck? Well, first most prominently we've got a copy of Exiled Force, which contributed itself in destroying one monster our opponent controls. This not only helps deal with a potentially dangerous threat, but it can also allow us another way to trigger Last Will, making Exiled Force both a removal and a combo card all rolled into one. Next up we have Injection Fairy Lily, which can often make itself the strongest level 3 in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which makes it an ideal plan B should our cat combo fail. You see, although her base stats are only 400, Lily can boost herself to a whopping 3400 for a cost of 2000 life points, meaning that even under the floodgates we run, this card can easily be a 3-turn clock on an empty field. And finally, since we're filling our graveyard with earth monsters, we might as well mention Gigantes, a level 4 earth monster that can be summoned by banishing 1 earth. Now Gigantes is a massive beta at 1900, however with 4 stars won't be attacking very often due to cards like Limited Area B and Gravity Bind. Now the reason we're in him is upon destruction, this card acts like a heavy storm and wipes away all back row on the field, making him alongside Cyberjar pretty much a guaranteed setup for our combo. Now, as we run 3 True Nades and 1 Heavy Storm in this deck, this card isn't necessary, so running by choice. And finally in our monster lineup, some cat combo decks in recent times have chosen to diversify the degeneracy and run an additional last will target in Cyberstein. A level 2 machine, Stein may not have much synergy with the rest of this deck, but he does have the ability to summon any fusion from the extra deck for the cost of 5,000 life points. This means we can do the first part of our cat combo for the 2 Miles Radiance, then last will this card out, pay the life points, and summon a Master of Oz. A 4200 Earth monster, all Miles Radiant, has almost the same power as both our pandas during the next combo. This combo isn't as popular in cat as in other Last Will decks, but it's the second combo we can end the game with, and thus I think you should include it. So outside of Last Will, what other spells do we need to facilitate our OTK? First we need to make sure the coast is clear to attack, so we run 1 copy of Heavy Storm along with 3 copies of Giant True Nade to deal with back row. Another card starts seeing more play as Goat deck building is improved. Giant Tree allows us to bounce all spells in the field to the owner's hands. Now on paper this seems inferior to Heavy Storm, hence the reason this card was somehow still at 3 during this time, but in a deck like this that's trying to win in one shot, it pretty much doesn't matter where the opponent's spells and traps are as long as they're not in the field causing us problems. Now because this is a combo deck in a slower area of Yu-Gi-Oh, we need to build up for our combo, so we also run 3 copies of Level Limit Area B, which forces all level 4 and higher monsters to switch into defense position. Now I mentioned this card and its sister Gravity Bind back when I discussed Ben KOTK all those years ago, and they serve pretty much the same purpose here. However, it's even stronger in this deck than it was in Ben K, because all of our monsters are level 3 or below, meaning we don't even need to remove these cards with back row removal before going for the OTK, meaning that if the opponent has no back row, you don't need Heavy Storm or Giant True Nade to win in this deck like you do with Ben K. Next up we have what I call Panda in a spell, in the form of United We Stand, which gives the monster equipped to an 800 point buff for each monster you control, meaning if a full cat combo goes off, this card will give the monster equipped to a 3200 point buff. Now put this on a panda and get 1 attack through, and you're probably winning the game no matter what, but if you're using this card on a Miles Radiant with just another Miles Radiant on the board, it can be really powerful as you've got over 300,000 attack points just with that. Overall, this card may not be as strong as Panda, but it can damn sure deliver OTKs almost as consistently. And finally wrapping up our spells, we've got the staples of Potter, Greed and Graceful Charity for more draw power, Lord Mana Crosser and Book Moon for interaction, and Premature Burial to give you 1 last shot at the combo if it fails the first time. Finally moving on to trap cards, which as you may have guessed are the only type of cards that differ heavily between pure cat combo decks and cat panda burn decks, as most of Goat's good burn cards are traps. First up we have Ring of Destruction, a card you can actually find in both variants, as if you're trying to win in one shot then copying the Chaz and blowing up a massive panda isn't a bad way to go about it. Next up, another trap to see play in both versions of this deck is Ojama Trio, or as I call it, the Panda Food Maker. A normal trap, Ojama Trio spawns 3 tokens onto the opponent's field that burn their control for 300 points when they're destroyed, and are pretty much useless in every other way. Also keep in mind they can't be treated for tribute summoning, so the opponent has no real way to avoid damage from these cards. Yes, in case you don't know, this is how we make sure our panda is massive when performing the full cat combo, which if we're successful with this, will almost one-shot our opponent by itself and almost get a guaranteed kill with 1 other burn spell. Speaking of which, in addition to this, the other burn spells you play in both versions of this deck is Ceasefire, a card that flips all monsters face up without triggering flip effects, and then burns the opponent for 500 points for each effect monster on the field. Pretty self-explanatory here, this card is often our final blow after attacking with the panda, and its skill drain effect on flip monsters gives the deck a decent matchup against Chaos decks that use cards like Magician of Faith and Night Assailant. And to wrap up the traps of this deck, the burn version of this deck runs Just Desert and Secret Barrel for additional ways to burn the opponent, whilst the pure combo version runs more staple cards, including Mirror Force and Call of the Haunted. When MBT talked about this deck, he claimed this deck was many Goat players realising the power of disrespect in his words, as this deck doesn't really want to play a back and forth game with the opponent, it wants to win as fast as possible, and I have to agree. Honestly, I personally don't enjoy playing decks like this in Goat format, as I play Goat for old school interactive Yu-Gi-Oh, but I can't deny its power. I do recommend this deck for competitive level Go events, but nothing else to be honest with you, because it really isn't fun to go against. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.